The grand ballroom glittered with chandeliers and laughter, but Lily stood frozen near the entrance, clutching her invitation with trembling hands. Tonight was her ex-fiancé's engagement party. The same man who'd once promised her forever. She hadn't planned to come, but her best friend insisted she should show she'd moved on. Except, she hadn't. "Ma'am, are you all right?" a deep, calm voice asked. Lily turned to see a tall man in a tailored black suit, his sharp gray eyes filled with quiet concern. He looked important, confident, like he belonged in a world she could only dream of. "I'm fine," she stammered, trying to smile. Then the words escaped before she could stop them. "Can you pretend to be my date for tonight?" The man blinked, surprised. "Your date? I know it sounds crazy," Lily whispered, her voice shaking. "But my ex is in there. He broke me once, and I can't let him think I'm still broken." For a moment, silence hung between them. Then the man's lips curved into a gentle smile. "All right," he said softly. "Let's give him something to regret." As they walked inside, hand in hand, Lily didn't know that the stranger she just begged for help was not just anyone. He was Ethan Cole, the reclusive CEO of one of the biggest tech companies in New York. And tonight, both their lives were about to change forever. The crowd turned as Lily and Ethan entered the ballroom together. Whispers rippled through the guests, but Lily stood taller, her arm looped through his. Her ex, Daniel, froze mid-conversation when he saw her. The shock in his eyes was almost satisfying. Ethan leaned closer, his voice a low whisper. "You're doing great," he said, his tone warm and reassuring. "Just breathe." Lily tried to smile, but her heart was pounding. "You're surprisingly good at this," she murmured. "I've had practice, pretending to belong where I don't," he replied with a hint of sadness she couldn't ignore. Before she could ask what he meant, the band began to play a slow waltz. Ethan extended his hand, and Lily hesitated only a moment before placing hers in his. As they moved across the dance floor, something shifted. His hand was steady, his gaze unwavering. For the first time in a long while, Lily felt safe. Seen. Daniel approached, smirking. "Didn't expect to see you here, Lily. Who's your friend?" Ethan's grip on her waist tightened protectively. "Ethan Cole," he said evenly, his voice cool and commanding. "Lily's date." Daniel's confidence faltered. "C. Cole? As in?" "Yes," Ethan interrupted calmly. "As in CEO of Cole Dynamics." Gasps spread through the crowd. Lily looked up at him, stunned. He just smiled down at her, as if to say, "Don't worry about them." The dance ended, but the moment didn't. For Lily, the fake act suddenly felt too real. The kindness in Ethan's eyes, the way he shielded her without expecting anything in return. For the first time since her heartbreak, she felt something spark deep inside. Hope. After the party, Ethan offered to walk Lily out to the terrace. The night air was cool, scented with roses and city lights flickering in the distance. For the first time all evening, she let out a nervous laugh. "I can't believe you actually did that," she said, shaking her head. "You saved me in there." Ethan smiled faintly. "You didn't need saving. You just needed someone to remind you you're stronger than what broke you." Lily looked up at him, surprised by the depth in his tone. "You talk like someone who's been broken too." He hesitated, his expression softening. "Maybe I have." He glanced out at the city. "A few years ago, I built everything, money, power, reputation, but I lost the one person who believed in me before all that. Since then, I've been surrounded by people, but never really with anyone." Lily's heart ached at his honesty. Beneath his polished surface, she saw not a billionaire, but a lonely man. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "Don't be," he said quietly. "Tonight, I didn't feel alone." The words lingered between them like fragile glass. Lily felt warmth spreading through her chest, the kind she hadn't felt in years. She realized this night, which started as an act, was slowly becoming something deeper, something true. Then her phone buzzed. A message from Daniel. "You think you've won? You're still the same nobody." Tears welled up, but before she could react, Ethan gently took her phone and deleted the message. "You don't need his words," he said firmly. "You're more than what he ever saw." Lily blinked away the tears. For the first time, she believed him. The next morning, Lily woke up thinking the night before had been a dream. But her phone buzzed again, this time with dozens of messages. Her name was trending online. Photos from the party were everywhere. Unknown woman steals spotlight beside billionaire CEO Ethan Cole. Panic rushed through her. "Oh no," she whispered. She worked at a small marketing firm. This kind of attention could ruin her career. Before she could think, her phone rang. "Lily? It's Ethan." His calm voice steadied her panic. "I saw the headlines. Meet me at my office in an hour. Please, just trust me." When she arrived at the towering glass building, everyone stared as she walked through the lobby. Ethan met her in the elevator, holding 2 cups of coffee. "You take sugar, right?" he asked casually, as if this were normal. "What are you doing?" she asked, her voice trembling. "Fixing this," he said. Minutes later, in front of reporters, Ethan addressed the cameras. "The woman in those photos is not a mystery," he began. "She's someone remarkable, kind, brave, and genuine. I invited her to the event because people like her remind me what matters, character, not status." Lily's eyes filled with tears. He didn't just protect her reputation, he lifted her up with grace. After the press left, she turned to him, speechless. "Why did you do that for me?" Ethan smiled softly. "Because last night, you helped me remember I'm human too." For a long moment, they stood in silence. 2 souls who met by accident, yet somehow healed something in each other. And for the first time, Lily realized this might not have been an act at all. Days turned into weeks, and what began as a single night of pretending slowly grew into something neither of them had planned. Ethan started showing up at Lily's favorite cafe, always claiming he was just passing by. She pretended to believe him, but every time their eyes met, that same spark from the ballroom returned. One evening, they sat together on a park bench watching the sunset fade behind the skyline. "You know," Lily said softly, "I never thanked you properly, for everything." "You don't have to," Ethan replied. "You helped me too. You reminded me what it's like to care without expecting anything back." Lily smiled, looking down. "It's strange. We started with a lie, but it's the most honest thing I've ever felt." Ethan turned to face her, his voice barely above a whisper. "Lily, I don't want to pretend anymore." Her heart skipped. "What do you mean?" He reached for her hand. "I mean, I want us to be real. No more fake dates, no more pretending." Tears glimmered in her eyes, but this time they were from joy. She squeezed his hand, smiling through them. "Then stop talking and prove it." Ethan leaned closer, and for the first time, the distance between their broken hearts disappeared. As the city lights flickered to life, 2 people who once felt lost had found something neither money nor power could buy: love born from kindness, courage, and honesty. And though their story began with a desperate plea in a hotel lobby, it ended with a promise. That sometimes, the people who walk into your life by accident are the ones who stay forever.